puts people in hellfire for eternity are the major crimes that God has told us about. Associating partner with God. If you did not repent from it and ask forgiveness from it and died on that state, this is a sin that God doesn't forgive. But other crimes against God, He says He will forgive. If you repent from it, He will forgive you. So it is not that these major things like, instead of praying 5 times a day, you prayed 4, as you said, and that will lead you to hellfire from eternity. No, it may be that, you were physically unable to. You were mentally unable to. God is merciful. He doesn't burden us something that we cannot bear. So if someone is not able to pray 5 times because there is a genuine reason they're unable to, then God is merciful and God is kind and God is just. But if somebody does that routinely, then he's committing a sin. But it doesn't mean this sin will make them into hellfire for eternity. No, we are told in Islam that because of their belief in Allah is the only one worthy of worship, alone worthy of worship, and they worship and submitted and surrendered their will to Allah and followed the Prophet, eventually, after all this time of punishment, depending on how long they need to be purified for that sin they have done, they will finally return at one point to paradise in Jannah to live eternally. Think about it. If you have an eternal life in paradise and you get punished for one year, 1,000 years, 1 billion years, 1 billion years compared to eternity is nothing. So I'm not saying you'll be punished 1 billion years. I'm saying eventually, after you're cleansing from your things that you did, God will cleanse you with His punishment. He will purify you, because God is just. Okay? If He decides to forgive, that's up to Him. But if He does punish you, eventually, because you said La ilaha illallah, you will return. This is the key to paradise. You will return to paradise. This is God's promise. So these minor things that you're saying, we don't believe that leads people to eternal hellfire. That's not the category of... Yeah, because God has given you a system in which He asks you to do something and to abstain from doing something. Were you really a person that really believed and abided by it? Did you really obey? If you work for a company and the company says, you know what, I want you to do this transaction and you just sit there and you make your own money and you don't do any work. At the end of the day, do you expect your company to keep you in your job and to also give you salaries?
If they demanded I walk a certain way and then I didn't do it, I walked in this corridor a certain way and I took 1 foot out of line, just purely because they told me to,
not like that.
Right? If I then got sacked, then I would say that's unjust.
No, it's like
not
this. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. Okay, now there are several deals to make. Okay, one deal will make profit, 500% profit. Another deal will make you loss, and you keep taking the wrong deal, making the company lose. Right? You do that consistently. Do you expect your employer to keep you on your job and to give you a bonus and pay your salary? No. But you don't expect that, do you? You don't.
No, I don't think.
You don't expect any employer to do that. In fact, that would be a very unjust employer, very unwise employer. So the Creator also gave us legislations, and He wants us to do and avoid the don'ts as best as we can. Now, if you keep on doing what you're supposed to avoid it, and you willingly persist on doing that, why are you expecting that the Creator is going to say, I'm not going to punish you for that? I'm not going to somehow make you accountable for it.
So, do you think
about, sorry to interrupt, think about it like this, because you're thinking about it in a different way. Think about hitting someone, maiming someone, breaking their legs, making them disabled, and you did it consistently. And you expect the society to say, that's all right, we're not going to punish you. It's all right, carry on doing that.
No, I don't think that's the same as demanding,
look,
maybe not demanding.
Think about killing and breaking the legs. There's a huge difference. Killing is a grave crime. Breaking the legs is not as killing. So you keep on breaking someone's legs and arms and tooth and the nose and ears and eyes, but you don't kill them. And you don't expect the society, the societal order, to somehow, we're talking about the judges, the crime and criminal system, and they would say, it's all right, what's your name?
Joe.
Joe, Joe, it's all right, it's okay, we're not going to punish you for that. It's all right, it's just a minor crime, it's a trivial thing. You don't expect that to happen. Why? You'd say, even this thing is important.
But my angle was getting at, say we go back to the company in the past. If your boss said to you, just purely because he told you to, because he pays your wages, you have to look out that window 5 times a day. Right?
That's me.
Then I'll sack you. Is that just? Just, it doesn't...
What's the question, sorry?
saying
If your employer tells you to look at the window 5 times a day, if that was your job that you actually were...
No, it wasn't. It was just purely because you pay my wages
No.
and you told me
If
to.
that was part of your job description, that you will have to look 5 times in the window, then they have the absolute right to reprimand you or, not pay you and so on and punish you, because that was the job you're supposed to do.
If in the beginning of the job, right, you made a contract with your employer, yeah?
Yeah.
And in that contract, you agreed that everything the employer orders you to do, right, which is job specific, in the field of the job, in the hour times, you will do. Then it's just. Because you made a contract with your employer that you will abide by the commands of your employer. If you didn't make a contract with your employer, that's a different story. If you made a contract with your employer, yes, you have to abide by it, and it's just, right? Because you're getting paid for these hours. You're following because you're getting something in return, right? You're not just following for the sake of following, are you? Or you will just walk away and leave your employer, right? So you are hired to do something. He is your employer. You get paid for your working hours. He told you to do something, and you agreed that you will do whatever he orders you to do. Yes, it's just.
Yeah, okay. Justification.
Do you think that people should not be punished at all? Is this your point of view? Is this your worldview?
I think he gets the point. That's fine.
I think my point is, why does... Because I'm thinking, like I said, I personally don't believe in God, but I see how big space and galaxies and all these kind of things, quantum mechanics, all this kind of stuff. He would have, if he's real, he would have created the designs and everything. I don't know. The leap I can't make is why he cares very trivial human matters. When all this, we designed and made all this, the answers all going on. It seems great, far greater.
Okay, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or if God, let's say just God, right? If God cares, really deeply cares about what every simple person does on this planet, right? If I'm going to kill you and God killed, he said don't kill, right? Will he not stop me? So I'm saying if God really, as you say, so much cares about every little details of what humans do.
No, I understand why you
right? So I'm telling you the difference between the two words. God told you what to do. He does not observe every second of what you do and stop you if you do something bad. Because this life is a test, right? This life that we live in the Muslim view, is a test, right? So obviously you will do bad things and you will do good things, right? So what God did is, that's all what he did. This is the good, this is the bad. Abide by the good, leave the bad. There will be accountability, the end of the test, there will be a test, right? When the test is done, you will have your results, right? This is good, this is bad. So it's not like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching, when do you scratch your nose, when do you do this, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stops you. If he cares, he will stop you, he can make you disappear, right?
Yeah.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do, because he is the best manufacturer. He is the best creator, right? He is the creator of everything. He will not be a good creator if he didn't tell you what is good for you to do and what is not good for you to do. You understand the difference between the two?
I understand.
One of the points that you need to realize, in Islam, we consider God as one of the very important attributes of God, Rabb. Rabb is someone who creates, shapes, nourishes, looks after. It's like someone, if you are a Rabb or Lord of a house, you look after the house. You're the caretaker. You're responsible, you want to make sure things function well. You want to make sure that everything's all right. You provide the provisions that's necessary to maintain the order and the requirements there, right? God is not just a creator, an abstract entity, like a deism type, God. He's our caretaker. He's one who is our Lord, our Master, our Cherisher, one who creates and guides and nourishes and looks after and takes care of. That's who God is. It's not that he just created and left it like, who cares, whatever. That many people believe in deist type of God, where they believe God created and he's away from the creation. He doesn't care what about it. No. God, he maintains his creation. He looks after them because he is a kind and just creator. So if, for example, someone asks for like, oh, I need some help and so on, are you saying God shouldn't listen? God listens. Maybe the answer comes in different ways, but God will listen to people's prayers. Doesn't matter if you are the one in the part of a cosmos where, far away in a different galaxies, God will also be listening to you. Because this is point one. Point number two, he ennobled human beings out of every other creation. He made human beings a worthy, a very noble creation, a very specifically distinct creation, giving them certain faculties over others. As you know from the difference between humans and animals, there are certain things which are different between us, right? So he created us, given us certain roles and responsibilities, and also the interaction that he has with them. So you can't just say, God, why is God, listening to everything or making sure everything is... Do you know that we believe in 2 recorders, here and here, records all our actions, the good and the bad, so that in the day of judgment, not only your record will be presented, what you've done, you will see it yourself. Just like now we can see, look at the recordings on a camera, you can see back what you've done as an evidence of what happened. Even your hands and your legs will testify. Your body part will testify. Yes, this man went there and he did this oppression, this evil, and this wrong. Okay, so these things you might want. Okay, like no one knew. You know what? You saw this woman there on this alleyway, and you raped her. No one saw it. There was no camera, and you think you got away with it. No, it's recorded. You will see this recorded. Your hands, your legs, your organs will testify that this is what you have done. This is to make sure justice is done properly, implemented, because justice is an important key aspect in our life and in the whole paradigm of this universe that God has created. God is just, and He wants justice to be done. So when we will going to be accountable for what we have done and so on and so forth, it's not just saying, oh, I didn't do it. But no, I haven't done it. Who was there? No one saw it. There will be witnesses. There will be your eyes, your hands, your legs, your body will testify against you and what you've done. And the angels who are recording the good and the bad, they will say this is what you've done. So you will have no excuse in the day of judgment to get away with the evil that you have done. I'm not saying you personally, the evil people when they're doing the evil to get away with it. That is why these concepts will make us understand that it's very important to live a life in which we are constantly being watched and observed, so that you live a life of nobility. That even though you're something within yourself, greed maybe the part of power hungriness, or I want to overpower someone, I want to bully someone, I want to rape someone, I want to kill someone. This is your own greed and selfishness and your desires to overtake others unjustly. Maybe this understanding will stop you from doing that. And not only that, this is one thing in place. Physically itself, in Islamic society, there are laws in place to prevent and restrict and to deal with these people, what we call Sharia. Now you realize why Sharia is there. It's to protect the society, protect the individual. So if someone is going to kill someone, it's not like, oh, you're going to be in jail for 2 days and that's it. No, your life will be taken away. Or there are other options. If the victim's family wants to forgive you, it's up to them. But generally, your life will be taken away if you kill someone. You'll be thinking twice, oh, if I kill someone, my life will be killed, so I won't be able to enjoy what I want to do in the first place. So there are a lot of preventative deterrents in Islamic law to ensure the society functions and thrives in harmony. And that is why one thing I would like to advise you to study the early Islamic history, and you will see how was the society functioning. Even few decades ago, maybe 100 years ago, in Saudi Arabia, this is historical records. The time of prayer came. The people who are selling their merchandise, whether it's gold or fruit, doesn't matter. Prayer time came. They will just put a piece of cloth over their merchandise and they go to the mosque and pray. It wasn't CCTV camera then, or locksmith and locks and so on, just like that. How were they able to do this?
Yeah, well, I would argue that a lot of places through history have probably been the same.
I don't know.
It goes back to that old thing of
but I'm
I'm
saying,
go back to there, you can leave your doors unlocked at night. All that.
but I'm saying this is the Islamic teaching enshrined in the society, made sure the society functioned like that. How many people were doing?
Capital punishment now.
How many people were committing crimes? Think about it. Ask this question, really. How many hands were chopped off? Because said they say, oh, Islamic crime and punishment is so harsh, so barbaric. Ask yourself, in the time when it was implemented, how many people's hands were chopped off? Probably a handful. To use the pun, sorry. Because that is how it was so effective in the system. There was no need even to, because Islam made sure that you don't even need to steal. It will be provided for you, your basic provisions of your life. This is something that your neighbors, the society at large, the leader of the Muslims within the land must provide for you. So there is no need for you to steal when you have been given all these basic necessities. The one who steals is the one who something's wrong when there's something, and they need to be looked at, taken care of. Because the society otherwise will be very insecure. So keep the security and the momentum in progression of the society in development, either in technology, in economics, whatever you call it. There has to be a robust system, and Islam made sure that was in place. When Islam was detached from our Islamic lands, this is when Muslims became corrupt. They corrupted their rulers, and the rulers corrupted them, and that's why they became so backward. And that's why today, hearing about this, you will say, how can they implement a system like that? But at one point, they couldn't even find someone to give this charity called zakah. Because everyone had the basic necessities. No one was like poor to have this means. Yeah. So this is just to show you that Islam provides a system from our Creator who is just, and He wants justice to be done. If you believe in justice, your heart and your mind will be inclined to Islam. Why? Because justice is one very important key aspect of the Islamic teaching. Justice.
So take it, okay.
Yeah. All right, John. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, and you.
Have you, Mansoor, Muhammad, have you ever read the Quran?
I've seen bits. I watch videos from here.
Would you say at least we have, with our very bad way and effort to encourage you, at least would you be encouraged to read the Quran and see what the Quran has to say about God?
Do you know the problem would be for me, and it's not specific to Quran or Islam. I can read it, and it could make sense to me, but inside I don't have the belief that it's actually true. Like you could.
That leave it to you and your Creator.
Yeah, that's what
you can come to your realization. If this book is now engaging with you, this is the copy of the Quran in English, right? A translation, and it tells you God speaking to you, and you're saying, but there is no God, and the Quran is saying, yes, I have created all of this. There was nothing cannot create anything. You cannot create the universe. God is the one who created. You will be, in this, transformation way of critical thinking, and the book will eventually engage with you, and you have to come to a point where saying, yes, it makes sense or not. Okay? So I will leave that to you and the author of this book. I don't have to worry about it. This is for you. I'm not concerned at all about this. When you engage with this book, you will engage with the creator of this universe, the author of this book.
I have this one as well.
Yeah?
So, I know you probably can't answer this question. I read this, and I just thought, it's good, it's okay, yeah, I got no problem with it, but I still don't have that belief that it's true. Do you think it's just if I would get punished then for that? For trying, and I was sincere, and I just thought, I just can't believe it.
First, point number one, does it make sense to you? You don't have, after you finish reading, right? It makes sense to you, there's no problems, everything makes sense, everything has evidence, it's not just claims here and there, but you still choose not to believe it. Then there must be a reason.
No, I believe that if you told me that the tiger is the bad, I'd instantly think if I believe it or I don't. It's like an internal. Sure. You could say a story that makes sense how a tiger behaved. Do I actually inside believe? Yeah, there was a tiger or there was not a tiger.
Let me give you a simple answer. If you are sincere if you're reading the Quran sincerely, if you're asking God, whatever God is, right, whoever He is, wherever He is, to guide you, you will believe. It's as simple as that. The only thing that can prevent you from believing is actually being arrogant towards it. Meaning that you know is the truth. It makes sense to you. There is evidence for it. Everything makes sense, right? But you say, you know what? I'm not going to believe that. I'm not going to ask this deity, whoever it is deity that exists, to guide me, that created everything, that fashioned me, to guide me, to give me this internal peace, to give me this assurance of what I believe in, right? So this assurance and belief that you ask for can only be given by the Creator. We can stand here with you for millenniums, right? It's not going to change anything until you also open your heart towards the Creator, right? If you be sincere enough and you're reading sincerely, you're not reading with the propaganda, with some eyes of critiquing eyes. No, you're reading sincerely to know, right? You're reading to find out whether it makes sense to you or not. If you are doing that and you ask the Creator, whatever He is, wherever He is, to guide you, I guarantee that you will be guided, right? So the criteria for you to go to hellfire, let us make it simple, right? That you hear the message of Islam, right? You know it's the truth. You will know deep down inside of you, because every person has fitrah. Fitrah is the innate natural disposition that God gave you. It will make sense. It will correlate with your innate disposition. And then die upon rejection, even though it makes sense.
Knowing that.
Yeah, knowingly, you die upon rejecting the message, right? You heard the message, you know it's the truth. Knowingly, you die upon rejection. So that means that you chose hellfire over loving God.
Those are the people who will go to hellfire.
So God did not choose to take you to hellfire. You chose not to believe in God. You chose to go to hellfire. That is the only criteria for you to go. So
I don't agree with that, but I'm going to go now anyway.
Sure, but do you understand this point? If you realize after reading and studying and reflecting that this is the truth, but you didn't accept it, that shows that for either arrogance or stubbornness, whatever reason, you're rejecting knowing what's the truth. That is one reason people will go justly to hellfire. If you believe and you accept it, then it's like God has promised you and guarantees you to give you paradise. Okay? Because you have now done all your efforts and you are tuned in His reason for your creation, and God's mercy and His grace is what you have now got, because you became the recipient of His grace and mercy, and He will put you into paradise. If you reject it while knowing it, this is called, in other words, if you heard of the word kafir, kafir. Kafir is someone who covers the truth. Yeah? That's why a farmer, in Arabic linguistically, is called kafir, because they cover the seed with the soil. Okay? So if someone knowingly rejects the truth, these are the ones who are destined to go by their own making to hellfire. God is just, He's not unjust. He is the most just. So if you read with an open heart, as my brother said, with sincerity, and ask the Creator to guide you, He will guide you. Guidance is not in our hands. It was not even the hands in our Prophet ﷺ. Only God is the one who guides. No one else can guide.
So just to end this one, right? Hellfire is a choice. It's not something that God gives you, it's a choice that you make. So read.
It's also His choice. Because He can stop at any moment. He can decide not to.
If He stops you unwillingly, you don't want to be stopped. You don't want to stop.
When you get there. When you get to Judgment Day, or whatever it is you call it, He could still decide to forgive you. You met all the criteria.
Is that just?
I don't know. I don't even.
Remember we talked about justice?
But he still could, though, couldn't he?
Is it just? He could 100%, but it will be injustice. Because if I was, let me give you an example. I was my entire.
To be unjust.
For example, like hypothetically, I was my entire life, or this person was his entire life praying, doing whatever God commanded him, being good to everyone, taking care of orphans, doing all of that, right? And then God, in the day of judgment, sends him to heaven. And then you come, you kill 20 million people, you raped, you stole, you punch people in the face, you broke every commandment of God, and then God is saying, you know what? Go with him too. Go with him to heaven. Is that just?
It's not just, but could he still do it?
He could, but he will be doing injustice.
But it's still his choice to do that, whether it's just or
No.
injustice.
Did God tell you if you do these bad things you will go there? So who choose to do the bad things, you or God?
Yeah, so it's both. I take a point. This is my choice. Okay, but I'm saying it's his choice. That when you get there, he can go. I've decided now.
Okay, if I'm a teacher, right, and I tell you study in order to succeed this year, study in order to succeed this year. I have two students. One of them studied, the other one did not study. The one who studied, right, he succeeded, right? The one who didn't study, he failed. Is that the fault of the teacher? This is what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is,
How is that the choice and the fault of the teacher?
I'm not saying it's just or unjust. I'm saying you still choose to. You can choose to be.
How is that the choice of the teacher? Did the teacher choose to make the child fail? But he could make him succeed, even though he didn't study, he didn't pass the test.
Would it be just to pass the one who didn't study at all and make them both go to the next level?
If they both pass the test, or if they
No,
didn't.
no, the one who didn't study at all. And then he says, okay, fine, now there you go, your certificate.
He gives both of
I'm
them.
not saying it's well. I'm not saying
No,
just or unjust.
my question,
He could choose to if he wanted to.
the teacher.
Well, God or
No,
the teacher.
yeah, okay. So if the teacher does that, what would that prove? That the teacher is in touch. He wasted all the effort of the child that studied the whole year, and he gave that child that played, that didn't do anything, that chose not to study, the same certificate. So this is what you're asking God to do. The one who did.
I think I don't know.
No, you're saying. You're saying it's his choice, but it's not. It's what you chose to do in your life that led you wherever you are going to go.
So he doesn't ultimately decide that.
No, he lets you. What do you mean by ultimately?
When he gets judgment, he doesn't.
He already decided by telling you if you do that, you go to hellfire.
Yes, he doesn't make. He doesn't
He
make.
already made the decision. He said if you do this, you will go to hellfire. Who made this decision?
So
He did.
what's-
But you chose to do that.
What's the idea behind Judgment Day then? If you've chose to go to hell by your actions, where does Judgment Day come into it?
Judgment Day is when you see all you've done. That will be when you will see yourself.
Is there a decision made there then
No.
on Judgment Day?
You
that
see,
he says
when
that door,
you
that door.
when you have lived your life, good or bad, you pretty much know, right? Outcome is. If you've been very bad. But some people who do bad and good and so on and so forth. So not every decision is understood while you're here on this life. In the hereafter, all your actions will be judged, and your belief, the right one or the wrong one, and the judgment will be given. No injustice will be done that day. The only judge will be God. So in that day, everyone will accept their destination, whether it was hell or heaven. No one will complain. Sure. No one would complain in the things that they have. They will blame themselves to those who have gone to hellfire. Even Satan will, he will do this like, I'm free from, any blame. Why? I only called you to all these things, wrong things, evil things, unjust things. I only called you, I didn't force you, but you followed. Yeah? So even Satan will wash his hands from it. Everyone will blame themselves. That's why we don't want to be in that stage in which there is no helper but God. So we have to now study, from now, reconcile ourselves with our Creator and say, do I want to go to a place where there will be happiness and bliss and joy and tranquility, or do I want to go to a place where there's suffering and misery and pain? We make the decision. You can make the decision.
All right, nice speaking to
Take
you.
care.
Thank you very much.
And that one too. Abdullah.